Today on Locked On A's, we are going over all of the A's bullpen options and putting together a bullpen which might actually be pretty solid in 2023. Let's get into it, you guys. How's it going, A's fans? And welcome to episode 515 of the Locked On A's podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I am your host, noted baseball fan Jason Burkett. On today's show, we're going over all the relievers that the A's could potentially have in their bullpen at the beginning of the season in 2023. There's a lot of very interesting options, I must say. I'm kind of excited about the A's bullpen come 2023. Just a couple of months left, and then it's baseball season. I love this time of year. Once football season's over, then I get really excited. But for right now, I'm just, moderate. I'm cool. I'm composed. We're doing great. It's season 4 of the Locked On A's podcast. We started this sucker back in 2020 and then didn't get a baseball game until the second part of July that year. So it's been a fun ride. And then I also, my wife and I had a baby last season. So, whoa. A lot has changed in the time that Locked On A's has been part of the world, but we're still here. We're still kicking. We're still having fun. So come have fun with us. If this is your first time listening, you're going to get lots of news, insight, and analysis here and at Inside the A's. It's a great time. Subscribe if you're on YouTube because we're available there. If you're listening to this on audio, subscribe over there. Leave us a rating and a review. It helps. It helps the algorithms at both YouTube and just across all of the platforms find other fans like yourself. And, it lets other people know about the podcast, helps the podcast grow. I appreciate it. The network appreciates it too, but I appreciate it the most, I would say. I don't think they care how well the A's podcast does. Anyways, follow us on social media at Locked On A's on Twitter and Instagram. I'm by Jason B on Twitter. Check out Inside the A's for more A's news, insight, and analysis coming your way whenever it happens. There's A's news. A's news is on Inside the A's. That's how that works. I also write some stuff every now and then. There's a piece going up that actually went up already. It's about Chad Smith, a reliever that you might not know about that the A's acquired before they traded Sean Murphy. So go check that out and get excited about Chad Smith. But today we are getting excited about the A's bullpen because why the heck not? I said that I was going to put together the A's roster. That takes time. And so I'm doing it piece by piece. We put together the rotation on the last episode, on episode 514. Today, we're putting together the opening day bullpen as well. Again, this is basically assuming that there are no injuries or anything like that. But without further ado, here we go. Trevor May, obviously, going to be in the A's bullpen. They gave him $7 million to sign here. He's going to be in the A's bullpen. Where he slots in the A's bullpen could be up for some debate, but I'm very intrigued by Trevor May. I've also been watching his YouTube videos, and they're exciting and fun. Trevor May, please come and be part of my YouTube videos and talk about the A's and yourself and like baking and Dungeons and Dragons and stuff. We'll have lots of fun. I need to reach out to him because I think he would be a delight to have on the show. So, Trevor May, I'm coming for you. He is a solid veteran that's going to be in this bullpen. There's still a lot of inexperienced arms in the A's bullpen, but he's going to be that veteran presence. He wants to be that veteran presence, which I think is even more important. He's, I believe, 33 years old. He's a righty. He dealt with injuries last year. And so that was part of it. And then in one of his YouTube videos, he talked about how his slider became too loopy. It was looping. It was looping too much. And he talked about like tunneling and stuff. It was very behind the scenes stuff. It was pretty cool because usually his fastball goes woo, and then his slider goes woo. But his slider was going whoop, and not tunneling, not going at the same trajectory, the same location as his fastball. And so guys were not swinging and missing at it. They weren't chasing that pitch either, but he fixed it. He fixed that towards the last couple of months of the season. And he had much better results. So I'm expecting a pretty decent, a nice bounce back season for Trevor May in 2023. He's going to be part of the Oakland A's. Obviously, they like the guy. They like what they think he can be. I believe he's being reunited with Mike McCarthy, the A's new bullpen coach. I assumed that they crossed paths. They were both in Minnesota, roughly around the same time. I assumed that they crossed paths, but I haven't had that, nailed down for me yet. But I think that they have, and he was pretty good back then too. So we'll see how that goes. But I think that he's going to be a very nice addition to this A's bullpen. And check out his YouTube videos. Honestly, check them out. They're fun. There's also one of him reacting to baseball TikToks, so go do that. The TikToks were not great. Let's be honest, though. Go see Trevor May react to those. Behind him in the bullpen, and this is not my prediction of where they're going to slot. This is just going over guys that you probably know, and then we'll get second segment will be guys that you're like, oh yeah, that guy was in the bullpen, and then we'll go into who I think is going to be in the bullpen. But second guy on the list, Dany Jimenez, who was fantastic. The A's had originally taken him in the Rule 5 draft and then gave him back to Toronto, I believe. And then he signed with the A's as a minor league free agent in 2021, and he became the closer for a little bit there. He had 11 saves in 2023. He dealt with some injuries, which was the one knock against him, really. He walked some guys too. But the one knock was he wasn't healthy the whole year. He totaled, I don't have his innings. Never mind. He had a 3.41 ERA. That's what he did. And 11 saves. He should be in the mix to close games again. Whether or not he's going to be the full-time closer, up for debate. Just like Trevor May's role, up for debate. But he'll be in the mix for some saves when the need arises, when there's a guy that needs a day off, a closer needs a day off, or the right situation. Dany Jimenez should be able to just fill that role just fine. And then behind him, you got the third righty in this bullpen, Zach Jackson, who he was really good. He was really good. What a pleasant surprise Zach Jackson was. He was consistent all year long, and that is his big key, is he was so consistent. His highest ERA in any month, and ERAs on a month-to-month basis can get out of whack very quickly for a reliever. The highest one he put up was a 4.38 ERA, which is like half a run higher than league average. That's not a high ERA for 1 month from a reliever, because a lot of relievers pitch such few innings that they'll pitch like 8 to 12 innings. So if you have one bad appearance, oh man, your ERA is going to suffer. And a 4.38 for a reliever is very solid as your worst month. He had a bunch of 3.3s in there. He was well below league average most months. He had one, let's call it bad month, with a 4.38. I think Dany Jimenez had like a 13.50 in one of those months, and he was still really good. So they're all fine. They're all gonna do great. Zach Jackson, he struck out 67 batters in 48 innings pitched. He had a 3 ERA, and he was 3 for 6 in saves. He was very consistent. I liked what I saw. We'll see if how he does things translates into 2023 as well. He did walk a bunch of guys. I think it was 33 guys in 48 innings. That was a lot of guys, but those strikeouts, those are real too. So we'll see if he can walk that tightrope and be as effective in 2023. But a guy with all of these guys could have roughly 3 ERAs so far. And then you add in Domingo Acevedo, another righty, and that's another guy with like a low 3s ERA. That's 4 guys in this rebuilding club's bullpen that could have pretty good seasons, honestly. And there's more coming, but Domingo Acevedo, he appeared in 70 games. He went 67 and 2/3 innings pitched. He had an 0.99 whip, which that gets me excited. When I'm talking about pitchers, I love seeing whips under 1, especially relievers, because relievers are volatile. And an 0.99 whip was fantastic. He had a 3.33 ERA, and he can just come on in a big spot, get that out. I believe that he allowed 10 of the 30 bequeathed runners that he inherited runners, to score. But, I mean, he was in there all the friggin' time. Give the guy a break. It was like 33%. That seems high. Give me like a 25 or below. That's good. That's a good bullpen. But Domingo Acevedo was pitching every other day, essentially. He was great. And he essentially repeated his stats from 2021 when he had a cup of coffee with the A's. He went 11 innings with the A's in 2021. And he just repeated all of those numbers. All of like the exit velocity against, batting average against, all those things were basically identical to what he posted the year before in a much smaller sample. He also is 85th percentile in average exit velocity. That's going to play. All right? If you can keep the ball off the barrel, you can pitch for a long time in baseball. So Domingo Acevedo, he's going to be that glue guy again, I think, in 2023. He gets me. I like glue. I like glue guys. I like glue. I like Domingo Acevedo. I'm excited about Domingo Acevedo. That's 4 guys right there. All All-Stars, all Cy Young candidates right now. In a second, I'll tell you a thing that I'm considering doing for the 2023 season. And then finally, we got AJ Puck. If you listen to the last episode, you know that AJ Puck, or if you've been paying attention to A's baseball, you know that AJ Puck is a potential candidate for the starting rotation. They're going to stretch him out a little bit and see if he makes the rotation. There's also a lot of guys going for rotation spots, and I don't know why you would mess with that just yet, because Puck can't give you more than like 100 innings, so it doesn't make sense. So in the last episode, I went over what I would do with AJ Puck, and it was not put him in the rotation. So there's that. So go check that out if you want like the more detailed analysis. But he's still in my bullpen, and I think that he's going to be in the A's bullpen coming into 2023. He was okay. He was mostly good in 2022. Let's be honest. He was mostly good. He finished with a 3.12 ERA. He had 76 strikeouts in 66 and a third innings pitched. He was good. He was really good. But I think that a lot of us have that one taste in our mouths, and if you can't quite place it, I placed it for you. It's this game that he had against the White Sox. It was one really bad September appearance. He came on in the 9th. Both Zach Jackson and Dany Jimenez had been declared out for the season, so they were not coming back. So AJ Puck was now the A's closer. I think this might have been the last game that he closed as well, or had an attempt to close. He allowed, in 2/3 of an innings pitched, 5 earned runs. He walked 1, gave up 4 hits, and he gave up 5 runs. 5 runs in the 9th. The A's had a 3-0 lead. They had been cruising in this game, and AJ Puck just was like, here you go. We don't want it. So that sucked. And I think that that's the sour taste that a lot of us had in our mouth from AJ Puck and his performance in the 2022 season. Other than that, I mean, even with that, he still had a 3.12 ERA. He was still pretty good. Well, let's be honest, in 2022. He also stayed healthy for the entire season, which is good. We like guys that stay healthy and, perform well. But that game in particular, Austin Pruitt came on. He started for Adam Oller, I think, in that game. There was a late scratch for the starter, and Austin Pruitt was deemed to be the starter of that game. And you're like, all right, we'll get an inning or two, and then we'll just have a bullpen game, whatever. He went 5 no-hit innings against the red-hot White Sox, and that was amazing. Austin Pruitt was fantastic. He's no longer with the club, and I was like, oh wow, that's a heck of an outing. And then AJ Puck came on in the 9th and gave up 5 runs, and so I think that's why a lot of us were like, what the heck? They were no hit through 5. That sucks. And Pruitt cruised too, so oh well. So the new thing that I'm considering doing in 2023 is, well, I'm going to finish going over the bullpen options here in just a minute, but I'm thinking about just being super optimistic about everything, which is something that I generally do anyway, but at the same time, we don't know what's going to happen with the ballpark situation, and so this could be the last season where we're like, yeah, there's going to be A's baseball in Oakland. We know that for sure. It's happening right now. This might be the last time that we can be excited about A's baseball in Oakland. We don't know. They could have a deal with Howard Terminal. We'll see how Sheng Tao, the new Oakland mayor, does her business and how much she wants to work with the A's and all that. But maybe something doesn't get done. I don't know. So I might just be super excited and say that they're going to win the World Series just because, screw it. Why not? Why not? Why not? Just why not? Anyways, coming up on the show, we're going over the rest of the rotation candidates, and then later we're going to go and give you guys the full A's bullpen heading into the 2023 season. We're starting off 2023 with a bang! So, stick around. This episode is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline is your #1 source for sports betting info, stats, news, and analysis. Get the latest odds and trends for every professional and amateur league out there. From pro football to college bowl season to basketball and the World Cup, they've got it all over at betonline.net. I don't know about you guys, but I'm considering following the Premier League in earnest again. After one of the World Cups, I was like, oh, I need to do this. And I picked the Wolverhampton Wolves because I had never heard of them before, and they had just been promoted from a different league. And I was like, hey, let's go with that team. They stink now, and I don't like them, so I need a new team. If you have a Premier League team, mostly because I have Peacock, and I would like to watch soccer more often. Give me your teams down below, and down below. You're welcome, Bet Online. And if you guys love sports podcasts, and I'm guessing that you do because you're listening to one currently, you can even find those over at Bet Online as well. We're always the fastest and easiest way to get your betting info. So head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more, because Bet Online is where the game starts. Welcome back to the Locked On A's podcast. If you guys are enjoying the show, make sure to subscribe if you're on YouTube. And then also like and comment below. So good at baseball, so handsome. That's just the default comment that you can use if you don't want to say like, wow, this is such a great podcast. I love it so much. I am a blank fan, and now I'm a fan of yours. That also works. But anyways, yeah. Follow or subscribe to the YouTube channel, please. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by opening day. I think we're at 655 last I checked. So go subscribe over there. Help my dream become a reality. My dream of 1,000 YouTube subscribers. If only. Also, make sure to follow us on social media at Locked On A's on Twitter and Instagram. I'm at @JasonB on Twitter. Check out Inside the A's on both Twitter and on Facebook at Inside the A's. But let's keep diving. Let's keep diving into this A's bullpen here, because we've already mentioned 5 pretty good names. I got more pretty good names for you. Here's Sam Moll coming down, throwing it from the left side. He had the lowest ERA in the A's bullpen in 2022 with a 2.91 ERA. That was in 53 games, 43 in the third innings pitched. He struck out 46 guys. 2 outings that he had, he did not record a single out, and he got blown up in those outings. One of those, he didn't have command. The other one was just against the Astros, and probably had faced them too many times. So there's that. He gave up 7 earned runs in those 2 outings where he did not record an out. And if you take out those 7 runs, which, I mean, you do at your own discretion. I'm going to just for this exercise. Take out those 7 runs. He gave up 14 runs total with those 7. Take out those. He has a 1.43 ERA on the season. Does that change your mind about Sam Moll a little bit? I know that he's not like flashy, he's not amazing, but holy crap. What a guy. He's a fastball slider guy. I wrote about maybe his heir apparent, John Fishman, over at Inside the A's. Check out that article as well. It's like A's fishing for the next Sam Moll, ? And it talks about the pitch mix and why they're very similar. But Sam Moll, very interesting guy here. I don't know. He feels like he could be a trade piece at some point, either before the season or at the trade deadline. But the A's bullpen is just better and deeper in 2023. And I know that we said just take out the 7 runs that he gave out. Well, maybe you can for 2023 because the A's bullpen is better and deeper, and hopefully that means that he can avoid those outings. Maybe he just wasn't feeling it. He gets up in the bullpen, he's like, I don't got it today, and sometimes you go figure it out on the mound. Sometimes that happens. I know, but maybe they'd be like, hey, you know what, AJ, you get in there, or, other lefty, Kirby Snead, you get in there and see what you got instead. And then Sam Moll doesn't give up 7 runs without recording an out, and all of a sudden, he's got a 1.50 ERA. Just saying. I don't know. Think about it, Cots. Moving on. We got a guy that he didn't pitch a lot for the A's, but he pitched very well for the A's, and that's Tyler Sear. He was a late season waiver claim from the Phillies, I believe. Maybe that was from the Giants. He's been at both. Doesn't matter. Anyways, he made 12 appearances for the A's. He went 13 innings pitched for the A's, and he had a 2.08 ERA. I know that I said that Sam Moll had the lowest ERA in the A's bullpen, which he did for guys that threw enough innings. I'm not going to give Tyler Sear that satisfaction yet. He has to earn it in 2023 if he wants to have the lowest ERA. He went 13 innings. So that's why I was like, so they both had very good ERAs, but Tyler Sear was only there for a cup of coffee. He is in the 97th percentile in extension. He throws 94, so that that can get on guys real fast. And even just 94, that's like an average fastball now. But 97% extension, that's something that you look for. And all of a sudden, that looks real fast. And he's interesting. There's not a lot to go on with Tyler's here, but I'm intrigued by him. We'll see what he does. He's had some walk issues in the past. He didn't walk as many guys when he was with the A's. Did they fix him? Small sample size. We're going to find out. So that's Tyler Sear in a nutshell. Let's talk about Kirby Snead now, the lefty, who I threw in instead of Sam Moll just a second ago because Sam Moll didn't have it that day. But Kirby Snead, he finished with a 5.84 ERA in 44 and 2/3 innings pitched. He had a 10.5% walk rate, which is a lot. So don't do that anymore, Kirby. But the thing that I like about him, and the reason that I named him one of my breakout picks for 2023, is because his stuff moves. There's something there with Kirby Snead that I really like, and I just think that he needs to just little tweaks here and there could make him a very dominant reliever for the Oakland A's. The recipe is there, and I think that he could be a dominant reliever in 2023, or maybe beyond. I don't know, but I don't know how much rope he has, but I think he could be a dominant reliever somewhere, hopefully for the A's. And after watching Trevor May's video about tunneling, what went wrong for him in 2022, I think that, maybe Kirby Snead has a tunneling issue, and maybe having Trevor May there and also Mike McCarthy, the new A's bullpen coach there, could help him tunnel his pitches better, because he's got some pitches that move, and maybe that's working against him so he can't tunnel. I don't know. But he's got the stuff. He only had an 18% chase rate, though, and that's not a lot. So with stuff that moves that much, you want to get guys that think that it's going to be a strike and then it moves off. Or maybe he needs to check his release points, and so that it crosses the plate more or gets more of the plate and then moves off of the plate so that guys are swinging and missing more or chasing more. We'll see. But I like the upside if he can put it all together. I'm intrigued by Kirby Snead still. I like him a lot. And then finally, rounding out this list is Chad Smith. You may have forgotten that the A's got Chad Smith, but they acquired him from Colorado for 2020 second rounder Jeff Criswell. Those are the words. And they got him in December, so he is a reliever. He's 27 years old. They got him from the Rockies. There you go. They got him for a formerly high draft pick. He's had some injuries. Criswell has had some injuries, but it's not nothing. They didn't give up nothing to get Chad Smith, and we've seen the A's give up nothing and have, Cole Irvin, so who's probably the A's opening day starter in 2023. So the A's gave up something. You got to think that Chad Smith is now Cy Young candidate, number 9 in this bullpen? He's really good. But he finished the year with Colorado with a 7.50 ERA in 18 innings pitched, lots of walks. A lot of those came in like his first outing in Colorado, so take that with a grain of salt is how I'm going with it. But he had an expected ERA of 3.91, which was right about league average. So his stuff is there. I talk about his stuff in the piece that I wrote over at Inside A's. So go check that out, because after looking at some of these stats that he has, I'm very excited about Chad Smith in 2023. And I think that it's just going to take one quick tweak before he really goes out and, shoves. So check it out. Watch him shove. Don't be surprised when he shoves. That's all I'm saying. Check out the piece. Don't be surprised. But he's got an interesting mix. I'll leave it at that. Check out the piece. But coming up on the show, we're going to be putting together the A's bullpen, which I got ahead of myself. There's some other names. There's a couple of other names. Freddie Tarnock. He was acquired in the Sean Murphy trade. He's a starter, but he could become a reliever. I've seen some outlets say that he could be a very good reliever. Maybe the A's flip the page on that and just move him into the bullpen and make him a solid reliever with some octane. We'll see. And then there's Luis Medina, who was acquired in the Frankie Montas trade. He's got lots of octane, lots of stuff, but not a lot of command. He completely lost his command when he came over to the A's and pitched in Double-A Midland. He has one more option year, so he does not have to be on the opening day roster for the A's in 2023, but he will need to be with the A's in 2024 or be traded or subjected to waivers or something like that. So you want to see what you got with Luis Medina. Both of these guys are starting pitchers. You'd probably want them to remain as starting pitchers, but they could both transition into being relievers. I wouldn't be surprised if one of the two is transitioned into being a reliever at some point early on in the season. But I don't know that they're necessarily in the mix just yet. But later on, they might be. Keep an eye on those guys. Coming up on the show, we're putting together the full bullpen, so stay locked in, you guys. Today's episode is also brought to you by Built Bar. Looking for a delicious treat but don't want all of the fat and the calories? Then you gotta try Built Bar. We just got through the holidays, and I know that my goal is to eat a little bit healthier this year. If you're like me, where when you want to eat healthier, you don't want to compromise on taste, and I've got the thing for you. You've got to try Built Bar because they're healthy, they're actually tasty, and they're seriously so delicious that you won't even think that they're good for you. They're perfect for your New Year's resolution. And if you want to know what makes Built Bar so good, they're covered in 100% chocolate, and you can't really go wrong when you cover things in chocolate and real 100% chocolate. And they're they have just ridiculous flavors like churro, peanut butter brownie, coconut almond. They're all amazing. And you know that you can order them online. We've been doing this for years. You can order them online, but now you can also go to a retailer and go get some Built Bars from your local Walmart or Sam's Club. That's right. You can head to the nearest Walmart today, walk to the pharmacy section, and grab yourself a box of Built Bars. You can pick up a 4-bar box of cookies and cream, double chocolate, or coconut puffs. If you're close to Sam's Club, just run in and grab a 13-bar box with their hit flavors, brownie batter, and churro. You can thank me later. Welcome back to the Locked On A's podcast. If you guys are enjoying the show and you've made it this far, please leave us a 5-star review on your platform of choice. Or if you're on YouTube, just subscribe already. Just do it. I'm going to keep yelling at you to do it. So just do it. Anyways, follow us on social media at Locked On A's on Twitter and Instagram. I'm by Jason B on Twitter. Check out Inside the A's on Twitter and on Facebook so you never miss an article over there. But let's real quick wrap up this bullpen episode by putting together a bullpen. Why not? For me, and this is to start the season, I think that Trevor May is both a good veteran and a nice guy to have in there, and just seems pleasant. And also, it's probably going to be trade bait come the trade deadline, and the way that you get that trade value to skyrocket is having him close a whole bunch of games in the first half. So Trevor May is my closer. Sorry for trading you, Trevor, but I think that we all kind of know that that's how the A's are going to do this. So, yeah, go close the crap out of some games and then get traded. And then behind him, I got setup man Zach Jackson because those strikeout numbers were really good. And I liked those. The walk numbers weren't as good, but the strikeout numbers were fantastic. I liked Zach Jackson a lot. He was consistent. I liked him a lot. And then AJ Puck is my other setup man. You got one from the right, one from the left. AJ Puck, he could use some innings. Maybe have him do like the 7th and the 8th. I don't know. That's how I could see that working out. And you have two guys that are both very good, one from the left, one from the right, and it doesn't. You could play the matchups at that point, I think. Behind them, you got Dany Jimenez. He might get hurt at some point, but I think that a 6th or 7th inning role, probably pretty solid for Dany Jimenez. I don't know if you need him to be closing necessarily. He could be a fill-in closer if you need. I'd rather have him closing a lot more games than AJ Puck, because I remember the game, AJ, that one game, and now you're banned from closing forever. And then behind them, you got Sam Moll, another lefty. Just because Sam Moll was just fantastic, and he could be like an out or two here kind of a guy, or he can give you a full inning. He's good in a bunch of different roles, so he's not going to be quite a setup guy, but he's going to be middle relief. He's going to be solid. He's going to get you the outs that you need. And then Domingo Acevedo, he's just going to pitch every other day. It doesn't matter what the matchups are. He's just going to go out there and pitch every other day. He's going to miss bats, or miss the barrel of the bats at the very least. And he's not going to walk guys. He's not going to get into trouble. It's just going to be fantastic. So Domingo Acevedo, that's your 6th reliever, is Domingo Acevedo. He's really good. Remember that. He's really good. That's 6 guys already. could have 3 ERAs. It's a really good bullpen. Then you got Tyler Sear, who actually had the lowest ERA of non-qualified guys with a 2.08 as your 7th reliever. So there's that. And then rounding out the relief core, I'm throwing in Chad Smith. I know that I'm very high on Kirby Snead, and I think that he has the stuff to do it, but Chad Smith gets the nod from me. I know that the A's could probably use another lefty because they only have 2, and one of them is AJ Puk, who's probably going to be a long man, but hey, we'll see. I like Chad Smith a lot. Maybe it's because I did research on him most recently, and so I'm enamored with him now, but I think Chad Smith has the potential to be a very, very good guy and actually be more of a setup guy than a garbage time guy, as I have him listed right here. So Chad Smith, he could rise very quickly in this A's bullpen, and he's the 8th guy in the bullpen. And we're not even talking about starters that don't make the rotation like JP Sears. He's not in my rotation. I still think he deserves to be in the majors, though. Adam Oller showed me a lot in 2 starts in August that I was very excited about, and then he got hurt. So those are just 2 examples of guys that could also be in the bullpen mix, but they're actually starters. And with this group of relievers and the group of starters that I laid out for you guys on Friday's episode, with Cole Irvin 1, Paul Blackburn 2, Waldachuk 3, Drew Rachinski 4, and then Moller 5. You're going lefty-righty. You can play matchups a little bit better that way, I think, with this bullpen. And you can get some length if you need to out of both the starters and the relievers, keeping guys fresh. The A's pitching staff might actually be pretty decent in 2023. On paper, that's what I'm seeing. We'll see how it comes, on the field and all that stuff, but I'm intrigued very much by this Oakland A's team. Their offense still leaves me wanting a little bit, but they've made upgrades there. If you want to be excited about A's baseball, which you might not want to be, but if you want to learn more about A's baseball and why they could be a very intriguing team in 2023 and not like a double-digit win team, like some of the people that have replied to tweets have said, they're like, oh, how many games do you guys think the A's are going to win? They're like, oh, they might scratch double digits. I think they could be like a mid-70 win team. I think I chose 77 about a week ago on social media. So I think that they're going to be a decent team. They're not going to be a laughingstock like they were last year. And even when they were not a great team last year, they still had some very intriguing guys. And we haven't even scratched the surface. Like, is like Jordan Diaz going to break out? We'll find out. There's a lot of guys like that could be really, really interesting in 2023, taking that next step in their development. And I'm excited to see it. And we'll see what happens, I guess. And there's also guys like Mason Miller who are going to need a shot at some point because they've absolutely dominated the minor leagues. They just need to get a few more innings at the AAA level before they can reach the big leagues. And so it's a very exciting time to be an A's fan, even though they're probably not going to be making the playoffs. But no, they're winning the World Series. That's my thing this year. They're winning the World Series. Screw it. This team's amazing. They're just... Houston Astros, the defending champions, don't even have lefties in their bullpen. They suck. They're an awful team. Oakland A's taking the division. 162, and no, they got to lose a few games. They're going to go 162. Let's call it that. Anyways, I'm off my rocker. Thank you guys so much for making Locked On A's your first listen of the day. Coming up on the next episode, it'll probably drop on Thursday, and then the 3rd episode will be on Friday. That is the schedule that we're laying out for you guys this week. I might actually talk to you guys in depth about Chad Smith and why I'm excited about him. We'll see if anything else pops up, but right now that's off the top of my head. If you can't wait until Thursday for that, go check out Inside the A's. But for your second lesson, go check out Locked On MLB Prospects, because host Lindsey Crosby is a prospect encyclopedia, and he's going deep on the MLB stars of tomorrow. It's free and available wherever you get podcasts. So wherever you're listening to this or watching this, go check out Locked On MLB Prospects for more prospect talk. And, get excited about the A's farm system as well. But that's all for me today, guys. So until next time, go out and celebrate good times, A's fans. Happy New Year. And I'll talk to you guys soon.